Welcome to Movie Library 101. In this video, we're diving into some of the best sci-fi movies of the 90s, arranged by release date. From groundbreaking visual effects to unforgettable storytelling, these films shaped a generation of science fiction cinema. This is the first part of an exciting series, so don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on future episodes. Back to the Future Part 3, 1990. Back to the Future Part 3, directed by Robert Zemeckis, is the final installment in the beloved Back to the Future trilogy. Picking up where the second film left off, Marty McFly travels back to 1885 to rescue his friend, Dr. Emmett Brown, who is stranded in the Old West. This film stands out from the first two by embracing the Western genre, providing a fun twist on the time travel adventures audiences had come to love. The film was shot back-to-back with Back to the Future Part 2, allowing for a seamless transition between the two. Filming for Part 3 took place in locations like Monument Valley, Utah, and the small town of Sonora, California, to give it that classic Western look. The production was a massive undertaking, requiring detailed set designs to recreate a believable 19th century hill valley. The cast and crew also had to contend with intense weather conditions while filming on location, which added to the complexity of the shoot. Michael J. Fox performed his own stunts, including a dangerous scene where Marty is nearly hanged by the villainous Mad Dog Tannen, played by Thomas F. Wilson. During filming, the stunt almost went too far, and Fox briefly lost consciousness while hanging from the noose, leading to a production delay. Meanwhile, Christopher Lloyd's Doc Brown takes on a romantic subplot in this film, falling in love with Clara Clayton, portrayed by Mary Steenburgen. Steenburgen had hesitated at first to take on a role in a sci-fi franchise, but ultimately accepted the part because her children were fans of the first two movies. The film blends humor, adventure, and Western-style showdowns, showcasing the creative versatility of Zemeckis and his team. The score, composed by Alan Silvestri, combines his original themes with sweeping classic Western music, adding to the grand, nostalgic feel of the film. One unique aspect of Back to the Future Part 3 is its homage to classic Westerns. Zemeckis and co-writer Bob Gale were huge fans of the genre and made sure to include references to iconic films, such as A Fistful of Dollars and Once Upon a Time in the West. Doc Brown even takes on the pseudonym Clint Eastwood when navigating his life in the Old West, a nod to the legendary actor known for his Western roles. In terms of reception, Part 3 was generally well received, though it didn't quite capture the same level of excitement as the original film. Critics appreciated the change of pace with the Western setting and praised the chemistry between the cast members, particularly the budding romance between Doc and Clara. Fans also enjoyed the lighter tone of Part 3, which was more character-driven compared to the darker and more complex Part 2. It currently holds a respectable 80% on Rotten Tomatoes and is often seen as a satisfying conclusion to the trilogy. At the box office, Part 3 performed admirably, though it didn't reach the same financial heights as the first two installments. With a budget of approximately $40 million, it grossed $244 million worldwide, making it a commercial success. However, its total earnings were lower than the $336 million of Part 2 and the massive $389 million haul of the original film. Despite this, Part 3 has enjoyed a lasting legacy and remains a fan favorite for its unique take on the beloved time-traveling duo. Part 3 wrapped up the trilogy in a fun and memorable way, blending science fiction with Western elements and delivering a heartfelt goodbye to Marty and Doc's time-traveling adventures. Total Recall, 1990. How often do you get the chance to watch a movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sharon Stone, directed by the same visionary behind RoboCop? Total Recall is one of those rare cinematic experiences that feels like a once-in-a-lifetime event. The film is based on the short story by Philip K. Dick, the mind behind some of the greatest sci-fi adaptations, like Blade Runner and Minority Report. Set in a world where memories can be implanted, the story follows Schwarzenegger's character, a man bored with his mundane life. He opts to implant an exciting memory of an adventure on Mars, but things take a dramatic turn when he realizes the implanted memory may not be artificial after all. It starts to affect his real life. The idea to adapt this Philip K. Dick story dates back to 1974, when Ronald Shusett purchased the rights to the 23-page short story. Alongside Dan O'Bannon, Shusett began developing a screenplay, eventually titling it Total Recall. However, no studio initially wanted to take on the project due to its heavy reliance on visual effects. Shusett and O'Bannon then worked on Alien, and the success of that film opened the door for them to pursue Total Recall. The film was a box office hit, earning $261 million worldwide, and went on to win the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. RoboCop 2, 1990. RoboCop 2, directed by Irvin Kershner, is the sequel to the iconic 1987 sci-fi action film RoboCop. The film continues the story of Alex Murphy, played by Peter Weller, a once-human Detroit police officer who has been turned into a cyborg crime fighter. In this installment, RoboCop faces a new and more dangerous enemy, RoboCop 2, a deadly and corrupt robotic version of himself, created by the same company, OCP, that initially turned him into a machine. The film blends dystopian science fiction with dark humor, much like the original, but amps up the action and intensity with more brutal sequences and larger-scale conflicts. Following the massive success of the original RoboCop, expectations were high for the sequel. However, the production of RoboCop 2 faced several challenges. One of the most significant was finding a new director, as Paul Verhoeven, who directed the first film, was not available for the sequel. Kershner, best known for directing The Empire Strikes Back, took on the project and brought a slightly different tone, emphasizing darker themes and more extreme violence. The casting remained mostly intact, with Peter Weller reprising his role as RoboCop, delivering another strong performance as the tortured cyborg cop who still holds on to fragments of his humanity. Weller's experience in the RoboCop suit this time around was difficult, with the heavy costume causing discomfort and exhaustion, but he powered through the demanding role. Nancy Allen also returned as Officer Anne Lewis, RoboCop's loyal partner, providing continuity to the story. One of the unique aspects of RoboCop 2 was the introduction of a child villain, Hob, played by Gabriel Damon. Hob was a street-smart, drug-dealing kid who becomes the right-hand man to the film's main human villain, Kane, played by Tom Noonan, a ruthless drug lord addicted to a substance called nuke. This casting choice was controversial at the time, as it was rare for a mainstream action movie to feature a child in such a dark, violent role, but it added to the film's gritty, cynical atmosphere. The production faced numerous difficulties, including a troubled script development process. The film's script, written by Frank Miller, who later became famous for his work on Sin City and The Dark Knight Returns, was heavily reworked by other writers before it reached the final version used in the movie. Miller's original script was considered too outlandish and chaotic, with a darker and more satirical tone than what ended up on screen. Nevertheless, traces of his style remain in the film's exploration of corporate greed, corruption, and society's addiction to technology and violence. Despite these behind-the-scenes issues, the film was praised for its special effects and action sequences. The stop-motion effects used to create the RoboCop 2 villain, a towering robotic monstrosity, were impressive for their time, blending practical effects with cutting-edge technology. The showdown between RoboCop and the new robot is one of the film's highlights, showcasing an intense and destructive battle that pushes the limits of the time's effects capabilities. At the box office, RoboCop 2 performed modestly, earning around $45 million domestically against a budget of roughly $25 to $30 million. While not a flop, it failed to reach the same level of critical or financial success as the original. Critics were mixed on the film. While some appreciated its boldness and visual style, others felt that it lacked the emotional depth and originality that made the first film a classic. In terms of reception, RoboCop 2 holds a special place for fans of the franchise. While it didn't achieve the same acclaim as its predecessor, it has gained a cult following for its over-the-top action, dark humor, and satirical take on corporate and societal issues. Over the years, it has been appreciated for its bold approach, even if it didn't fully live up to the iconic status of the original. The Rocketeer, 1991. The Rocketeer, directed by Joe Johnston, is a delightful blend of adventure, romance, and nostalgia, set against the backdrop of 1930s Los Angeles. Based on the comic book created by Dave Stevens, the film follows the story of Cliff Seekard, played by Billy Campbell, a struggling pilot who discovers a mysterious jetpack that allows him to fly. As he embraces his new identity as the Rocketeer, Cliff must navigate the dangers posed by the FBI, the mob, and a scheming actor named Neville Sinclair, played by Timothy Dalton, who has his own designs on the jetpack. The production of The Rocketeer was a significant undertaking, featuring impressive practical effects and set designs that brought the Art Deco aesthetic of the era to life. One of the standout aspects of the film is its attention to period detail, from the vintage cars to the costumes, all of which help immerse the audience in the 1930s setting. Billy Campbell was relatively unknown at the time, but delivered a charismatic performance as the heroic Cliff Secord. His portrayal was complemented by Jennifer Connelly, who played his love interest, Jenny Blake. Connelly's performance added depth to the film, balancing the action with a heartfelt romance. Timothy Dalton, known for his later portrayal of James Bond, brought charm and menace to the role of Neville Sinclair, making him a memorable villain. One of the unique features of The Rocketeer is its homage to the golden age of Hollywood and the pulp adventure stories of the 1930s. The film captures the spirit of that era, blending superhero elements with real historical events, including the rise of fascism and the influence of Hollywood in shaping public perception. The character of Sinclair is loosely based on the real-life actor Errol Flynn, who was known for his swashbuckling roles and off-screen controversies. The special effects and visual style of The Rocketeer were groundbreaking for their time. The filmmakers employed a combination of practical effects and miniatures to create the thrilling flying sequences, showcasing Cliff's aerial antics. The design of the jetpack itself was a standout feature, with its retro-futuristic aesthetic captivating audiences. The film's action sequences, including dogfights and rooftop chases, were well executed and added excitement to the story. Upon its release, The Rocketeer received mixed reviews from critics, though many praised its visual style and performances. The film's charm and nostalgic appeal resonated with audiences even if it didn't achieve blockbuster status at the box office. It grossed approximately $46 million domestically against a budget of around $35 million, making it a modest success but falling short of expectations. Despite its initial box office performance, The Rocketeer has since gained a cult following and is regarded as a beloved classic among fans of adventure cinema. Its unique blend of superhero elements and period charm has led to a lasting impact, inspiring new generations of filmmakers and audiences alike. The Rocketeer is a charming and visually stunning film that celebrates the spirit of adventure and romance while paying homage to a bygone era. Its legacy endures through its cult status and influence on the superhero genre, making it a must-see for fans of both classic cinema and modern superhero films. Terminator 2. Judgment Day, 1991. Terminator 2, Judgment Day is a landmark film in both science fiction and action genres, directed by James Cameron. It is the sequel to the 1984 film The Terminator, and it expands the story of a dystopian future where machines, controlled by an AI called Skynet, seek to wipe out humanity. The film focuses on a young John Connor, played by Edward Furlong, the future leader of the human resistance, as he is protected by a reprogrammed Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, against a more advanced killer machine, the T-1000. The T-1000, played by Robert Patrick, was a breakthrough in terms of visual effects. The liquid metal effects were created using early CGI technology, which was revolutionary at the time. Industrial Light and Magic, ILM, used CGI to depict the T-1000 morphing, with the liquid metal effect taking 35 staff members, several months of work, and a budget of $5 million to achieve. The film won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects for its cutting-edge technology, which still holds up remarkably well today. Robert Patrick trained extensively to give the T-1000 its unnervingly mechanical, efficient movements. He practiced running without breathing heavily, so he could appear more robotic in pursuit scenes. Patrick's physical performance, combined with the groundbreaking CGI, made the T-1000 one of the most memorable villains in film history. Although the film is renowned for its CGI, many of its action sequences relied heavily on practical effects and stunts. For example, the famous freeway chase, where the T-1000 pursues John Connor in a truck, involved real vehicles and practical stunt work. The scene where the T-800 jumps a motorcycle into a drainage canal was done practically, with a crane lifting the motorcycle and Schwarzenegger's stunt double into the air. Arnold Schwarzenegger was paid $15 million for his role as the T-800, a huge sum at the time. Interestingly, Schwarzenegger speaks only 700 words in the film, meaning he earned roughly $21,429 per word. For example, his famous line, "Hasta la vista, baby," cost approximately $85,000.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Terminator 2 was one of the most expensive films ever made at the time, with a budget of around $100 million. However, it went on to gross over $500 million worldwide, making it a massive commercial success and cementing its place as a box office hit, and became the highest-grossing movie of 1991. The film originally had a more upbeat ending showing an older Sarah Connor in a future where Judgment Day never happened. However, Cameron ultimately chose the more ambiguous ending that leaves the future uncertain, fitting better with the film's themes of fate and the unknown. Terminator 2 remains one of the most influential action films ever made. Its blend of high-octane action, groundbreaking visual effects, and compelling emotional arcs set a new standard for the genre. The film's success paved the way for future blockbusters that heavily rely on CGI, and it helped solidify James Cameron's reputation as a master filmmaker. Even today, Terminator 2 is celebrated for its tight narrative, memorable performances, and technical innovation, standing as a timeless classic. Split Second, 1992. Split Second, directed by Tony Maylam, is a sci-fi action thriller that stars Rutger Hauer as Detective Harley Stone, a tough cop in a flooded dystopian future version of London. The film follows Stone as he hunts down a mysterious, predatory creature that is killing people in the city. With a mix of horror elements and action, Split Second combines a gripping storyline with Hauer's intense performance. The production of Split Second faced several challenges, particularly with the special effects and set design needed to create the film's unique post-apocalyptic environment. The filmmakers utilized extensive set construction to depict a flooded London, incorporating real water elements and practical effects to enhance the film's atmosphere. The rain-soaked streets and dark alleys contribute to the film's tense and foreboding tone. Rutger Hauer, known for his previous roles in Blade Runner and The Hitcher, brought depth to the character of Harley Stone. His portrayal of a haunted cop dealing with personal demons adds an emotional layer to the film. The cast also includes Kim Cattrall as Michelle, a fellow officer who becomes involved in the investigation. Their dynamic adds a touch of romance to the otherwise grim narrative. The creature design is one of the film's standout features, showcasing a nightmarish antagonist that combines elements of horror and science fiction. The film's special effects team worked to create a believable and terrifying creature, utilizing animatronics and practical effects to achieve chilling visuals. The combination of suspenseful cinematography and a haunting score enhances the film's dark atmosphere. Upon its release, Split Second received mixed reviews from critics, with some praising Hauer's performance and the film's unique premise. However, others criticized its pacing and reliance on familiar genre tropes. The film grossed approximately $2 million at the box office against a budget of around $7 million, making it a modest commercial failure. Despite its initial reception, Split Second has since gained a cult, following for its blend of action, horror, and sci-fi elements. Fans appreciate the film's atmospheric visuals, Hauer's charismatic performance, and its unique take on the genre. The film's blend of dark humor and gritty action continues to resonate with audiences who enjoy offbeat, cult classics. Split Second stands out for its imaginative world-building, strong performances, and memorable creature design, making it a noteworthy entry in the early 90s sci-fi action genre. Its lasting appeal and cult status ensure that it remains a cherished film for fans of Rutger Hauer and genre cinema alike. Alien 3, 1992. Alien 3, directed by David Fincher, is the third installment in the iconic sci-fi horror franchise that began with Ridley Scott's Alien in 1979. This film follows the events of Aliens, where Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, crash lands on a remote prison planet called Fury 161. After surviving a horrific encounter with an alien creature, Ripley discovers that she is not alone. The facility is home to a group of dangerous inmates and a new breed of xenomorph. The production of Alien 3 was marked by a series of script rewrites and directorial changes that created significant challenges for the filmmakers. Fincher, in his feature film debut, faced immense pressure and tight deadlines, which contributed to a troubled shoot. Many of the film's scenes were reworked or changed entirely during production, leading to a disjointed final product that left some creative elements underdeveloped. One of the film's notable aspects is its dark, grim atmosphere, contrasting with the action-oriented tone of Aliens. Alien 3's setting in a bleak and industrial prison enhances the horror elements, emphasizing the isolation and desperation of the characters. The film also marks a shift in focus, prioritizing psychological horror and character-driven storytelling over action. The special effects in Alien 3 were groundbreaking for their time, utilizing a mix of animatronics and practical effects to create the xenomorph. The film's creature design diverges from previous entries, showcasing a more mutated and organic version of the alien. The production team also used innovative techniques to achieve the film's iconic visuals, such as the dramatic lighting and atmospheric cinematography that contribute to the overall sense of dread. Upon its release, Alien 3 received mixed reviews from critics and audiences. While some praised its ambition and visual style, others were disappointed by the departure from the action-heavy format of Aliens and the film's darker tone. It grossed approximately $159 million worldwide against a budget of around $50 million, making it a moderate commercial success but falling short of its predecessors. Over the years, Alien 3 has garnered a re-evaluation among fans and critics, with some appreciating its ambition and the thematic depth it explores. The film's exploration of trauma, loss, and the nature of humanity adds layers to Ripley's character and the overarching narrative of the franchise. While it may not have achieved the same iconic status as its predecessors, Alien 3 remains a significant entry in the Alien saga, showcasing David Fincher's early filmmaking prowess and the franchise's evolution into darker territories. Fortress, 1992. Fortress, directed by Stuart Gordon, is a sci-fi action thriller set in a dystopian future where strict population control laws have been implemented. The film stars Christopher Lambert as John Henry Brennick, a former military man who becomes a political prisoner for attempting to have a second child in a world where families are limited to one child. He is sent to a high-tech, maximum security prison known as Fortress, where he faces brutal conditions and oppressive guards. The production of Fortress involved elaborate set designs and practical effects that helped to create a believable vision of a totalitarian future. The film's prison setting features advanced technology, including robotic guards and an electrified fence, enhancing the sense of danger and confinement. The production team worked to combine action elements with a commentary on the consequences of authoritarianism and the loss of personal freedoms. Christopher Lambert delivered a strong performance as Brennick, showcasing his character's resilience and determination to escape. One of the film's unique aspects is its exploration of the psychological impact of imprisonment and the lengths to which individuals will go to preserve their freedom. Fortress delves into themes of rebellion against oppressive systems, highlighting the struggle between the individual and the state. This message resonated with audiences, especially during the early 90s, as societal concerns over government control and personal liberties were prominent. The special effects in Fortress, while not groundbreaking, were effective for their time. The film's action sequences, including intense fight scenes and daring escapes, are well executed and contribute to the overall pacing and tension. The cinematography captures the grim atmosphere of the prison, enhancing the sense of claustrophobia and danger that pervades the film. Upon its release, Fortress received mixed reviews from critics, with some praising its entertaining action and Lambert's performance, while others criticized its predictable plot and lack of character development. The film grossed approximately $2.5 million at the box office against a budget of around $8 million, making it a modest success but not a commercial hit. Over time, Fortress has gained a cult following for its blend of sci-fi and action elements. Fans appreciate its commentary on societal issues, as well as the entertaining performances and thrilling sequences. The film's vision of a bleak future resonates with audiences who enjoy dystopian narratives. Fortress stands out for its engaging storyline, strong performances, and thought-provoking themes, making it an entertaining exploration of freedom and resistance in a controlled world. Its legacy endures through its cult status and influence on future dystopian films, appealing to those who appreciate action with a deeper message. Forever Young, 1992. Forever Young, directed by Steve Miner, stars Mel Gibson as Captain Daniel McCormick, a World War II pilot who is cryogenically frozen in 1943 and wakes up in the early 1990s. The story unfolds as Daniel, struggling to adapt to a world that has drastically changed, forms a bond with a young boy named Billy, played by Elijah Wood, and his mother Helen, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. The film explores themes of love, loss, and the passage of time as Daniel navigates his unexpected return to life. The production of Forever Young involved a mix of practical effects and innovative techniques to portray Daniel's journey through time. The film's cinematography captures both the charm of the 1940s and the vibrancy of the 1990s, contrasting the two eras effectively. The emotional depth of the story is enhanced by the use of nostalgic elements, such as music and period-specific details, which help to immerse viewers in Daniel's world. Mel Gibson's performance as Daniel McCormick is heartfelt and relatable, showcasing his struggle to reconcile his past with the present. Jamie Lee Curtis delivers a strong performance as Helen, who becomes a source of comfort and connection for Daniel. The chemistry between Gibson and Curtis adds a romantic layer to the film, creating poignant moments that resonate with the audience. Elijah Wood's portrayal of Billy adds innocence and warmth, emphasizing the film's themes of friendship and family. One of the film's unique aspects is its exploration of the concept of time and the impact it has on relationships. Forever Young delves into the emotional consequences of being out of time, as Daniel grapples with the loss of his loved ones and the changes in the world around him. This theme resonates deeply, particularly as Daniel forms a bond with Billy, who represents the innocence and joy of youth. The special effects in Forever Young were well executed for the time, especially in depicting Daniel's cryogenic freezing and thawing process. The film's visuals successfully capture the emotional and fantastical elements of the story, enhancing the audience's experience. The soundtrack features a mix of nostalgic songs that further evoke the feeling of both the 1940s and the 1990s, adding an additional layer of depth to the film. Upon its release, Forever Young received mixed reviews from critics. While some praised the performances and the film's emotional resonance, others felt the story was predictable. The film grossed approximately $19 million at the box office, against a budget of around $25 million, making it a modest success, but not a blockbuster. Over the years, Forever Young has developed a loyal fan base, appreciated for its heartwarming narrative and nostalgic charm. Its exploration of timeless themes, love, loss, and the inevitability of change, continues to resonate with audiences, making it a beloved entry in the romantic fantasy genre. The film remains a touching reminder of the power of human connection and the enduring nature of love across time. Jurassic Park, 1993. Jurassic Park, released in 1993 and directed by Steven Spielberg, is a legendary sci-fi adventure that changed how movies were made and experienced. The film had a budget of around $63 million, a massive amount for its time. But that investment paid off handsomely, with Jurassic Park grossing over $1 billion worldwide after re-releases, making it one of the highest-grossing films ever. Getting Jurassic Park into production wasn't smooth sailing. Spielberg had to pull off a tricky balancing act between practical effects and cutting-edge technology. They initially relied heavily on animatronics for the dinosaurs, using massive, lifelike models. The T-Rex, for example, was a 12,000-pound animatronic beast that was so realistic that it caused havoc on set. Whenever it got wet, it would malfunction, randomly twitching and terrifying the cast. Spielberg later said it felt like having a real dinosaur on set, with all the unpredictable behavior that came with it. One of the biggest challenges was deciding how to bring the dinosaurs to life convincingly. Originally, Spielberg planned to use stop-motion animation, a popular technique at the time. However, after seeing early CGI tests from Industrial Light and Magic, ILM, Spielberg was blown away by how realistic the digital dinosaurs looked and decided to shift gears. This change mid-production was risky and expensive, but it revolutionized how special effects were used in cinema. The movie faced weather challenges as well. Filming took place primarily in Hawaii, where the crew had to deal with the unpredictable climate. In fact, a hurricane, Hurricane Iniki, hit the island of Kauai during production, forcing the cast and crew to take shelter in their hotel. Remarkably, Spielberg used the storm footage in the final cut of the film, making the scenes with the T-Rex attacking the cars during the storm even more intense and realistic. Production issues weren't just limited to technology and weather. Spielberg had a tight deadline, as he was already committed to directing Schindler's List right after Jurassic Park wrapped. This put immense pressure on the team to finish on time. Spielberg was known for being decisive and quick on set, often finishing filming ahead of schedule. But even with his efficiency, the post-production process was a race against the clock to finalize the groundbreaking visual effects. Despite all these hurdles, Jurassic Park became a global phenomenon. The water ripple scene, created by plucking a guitar string under the dashboard, and the mix of sound effects that gave the T-Rex its terrifying roar, combining baby elephant squeals, alligator growls, and tiger snarls, are just a few examples of the team's creative problem-solving. The film wasn't just a box office smash. It set new benchmarks for storytelling, visual effects, and the scale of blockbuster filmmaking. It made audiences believe that dinosaurs could walk among us, and its legacy continues to inspire filmmakers and fans alike to this day.